Good morning, and again, this is Alan Perwithis from Capstone Partners, and here with us this moment is the man of the hour, Wienke Giezeman, the co-founder of the Things Network, and of course, the head of this entire conference.
Yeah, thank you
so
very much.
So welcome to your own conference.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for coming all over and doing these the interviews. It's awesome.
So I know you just came off stage from this incredible keynote kickoff with all these great statistics about the LoRa and how much expansion and excitement's going on. I was especially excited to hear about 9 billion transactions over LoRa networks now.
Yeah, so we build all the networks for the Things Network collaboratively, and we have private networks to the Things Industries, and all these gateways are seeing a lot of devices, a lot of messages, and we're routing 9 billion of these messages over our infrastructure. So this is a huge amount of data going over our network.
That's absolutely amazing. And I think the Things Network is solving a very fundamental problem anytime you're talking about a new network technology, and that you're helping enable these networks to go, but yet you're eliminating the challenges of, this is my network and that's your network and they can't talk to each other, which is a really important concept.
Yeah. So we don't talk about a consumer internet, or we talk about a small business internet, or a government internet, or a big company's internet. No, like we're all using the same internet. And this is something specifically that we need to also include in LoRaWAN. And it's a natural way how it goes. If you look at the internet, they also had companies to make their business cases positive in the start of the internet, building these siloed networks. They thought, we're going to build our own internet. And then, in the end, you're finding out, no, let's just connect them all together because that makes more sense. So I think we're getting there in the next few years. It's just standard. And what we don't need to forget is that an IoT network is something different than an IoT application, right? And the IoT application is end-to-end encrypted. It doesn't care about the network. Yeah? The data just wants to be routed. So yeah, we're trying to push that messaging and make sure that that gets out.
That's wonderful. So tell us about where do you have coverage at this point with your network?
Yeah, so if people say, do you have coverage? Then we say, okay, we have gateways here, but it's a fragmented network, so it's an organic network. So we say, if you want coverage, here is a $60 gateway. Create your own or outdoor, maybe a $400 gateway. And this, so you can create it yourself, but we currently have 18,000 gateways across the world. 18,000? Yeah, that's a lot.
That is amazing. And your own network software actually administers, runs all this in the background.
Yeah, so as we announced today, is that we run the open network already at a 99.98% uptime across all regions. That also means that we run this software across different data centers across the world, cloud providers. So yeah, that works perfectly well. And we expect around, there's a lot of encrypted data as well, but we expect around 500,000 devices active on the network.
That's absolutely amazing. I wish my airline was anywhere close to that kind of availability. We were giving all my travels. So that's pretty incredible. So, I was talking earlier with Alistair Fulton from Semtech about scale. We've all been in this business for quite a long time, and we've always talked about the scale is coming, the scale is coming. It feels like this is the year. I'm seeing those projects happen. But how do you view your role in helping IoT scale in 2020?
Yeah, so you see different growth phases, and with any business or any technology, every growth phase has its own growth challenges. So what you now see is that when we're going into the tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands big deployments, then like a OPEX of $1 or maybe a operational handling of 5 minutes times 100,000 is a lot of minutes.
Oh yeah.
It's a lot of dollars, right? So what we need to make sure is to a very far extent automated. And think about printing out a QR code label. So if you can do that at the end of the production run, on a secure way, at your factory of choice in Shenzhen maybe, you want to have it make it that it's securely done, and that it maybe takes 5 seconds. Instead of, as an SI, bring it over on-premise, have somebody spend half a minute to. So it's these small things that are hidden below all this IoT sexiness that actually make you or break you. So we need to fix them all.
Well, it's not a small thing though; it's a big thing.
Yeah,
because
it's
actually one of my one of the large former relations put together with a tier 1 systems integrator is having this, same challenge of, and I've seen this in other types of consumer electronics where when you start getting scale, what do you even do with all that packaging when you're buying 100,000 things at a time?
Yeah.
And then you can only hire so many interns to type in serial numbers from devices.
Indeed.
And what percentage of those entries are going to be correct the first time?
Yeah. And what's the cost of somebody that installs it and it's incorrect? Like you have to go back. Like this is, and that is like this is the big challenge of IoT. Is like there will never be an IoT world which is truly like without any manual operation, and but we can reduce it, and that's good. And we can also crowdsource tasks, and we can make sure that the tasks are at the point that it's the easiest, the cheapest, and cost less time. So so we have a range of tools from pre-provisioned security keys that are locked down in a little chip. We have security key management systems for LoRa. We're trying to automate as much as possible. And so, for instance, also something that we see in the market is that people say, we need a network operation center. In IoT, you need an application operation center, right? Because the application and the network are so intertwined that if my network does not perform, my application does not perform. But it's broadcast. So with broadcast, it should and forget for the most time. So you need to build algorithms to understand if my device actually is not working anymore. So that's what we're working on, these kind of, so that you get warnings, say, hey, like, why is this device not sending for a week while it was sending was sending every day before? If you have 100,000, there's not somebody going through all these devices. Hey, this device is not sending data. No, so
exactly.
You try to take all the good bits from the old world, but we're also entering a new world. It needs new paradigms, new ideas.
When I hear you talk about it, it's almost going from an IT concept to an OT, an operational technology concept, is really what you're describing of, you have to get it implemented, there's challenges around that, but how you actually run it and integrate it with your existing business operations, which is why all of this really, to me, are just tools under digital transformation, because you're fundamentally trying to evolve your business with this new technology as a key tool.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
And it's funny you say about just knowing what's reporting in. I know with remote monitoring, there are cases now where some of these remote oil locations, for instance, they're still actually using fax machines.
Yeah.
Or they get reports in over months. And sometimes you won't even know some of this remote equipment stopped working for a month or two. And what does that do for your return on investment?
Yeah. So I mean, I really like the fact that you're getting OT in it, IT, like telco. It's all a mix, and I mean, for like a really technocratic person, like person like me and Johan, is that we like it's super interesting to go into this operational process, and it's like, why? Like, why you're throwing away money? Like, why is this? So and that is IoT. That makes IoT super interesting because it's like a green field. Sometimes it feels like you're telling people about IT and digital transformation at the same time. Why you think like why don't they already do this? But there's a sea of opportunities.
Absolutely. The trick is prioritizing and focusing and executing.
Yeah.
And so for you, okay, you're providing this network. It's really amazing how large it's become so quickly. You're trying to automate all these functions you normally have to do manually. But still, when someone comes to you, they still have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
So how do you guide them? Because they maybe have an idea around a technology or an idea around a problem, but they're typically going to have gaps in their knowledge to actually do something about it.
Yeah.
And it may not be something you do. So how do you sort of treat that partner?
Yeah, so today we also launched our global partner network. We have it at our stand, and the world of IoT is still fragmented. And what the trick is to make sure that we have local systems integrators and local IT companies being able to use the technology and make sure that they can grasp the lion's share because they also have the biggest risks. The people that are selling the hardware, that they're taking the risk of when it fails, that they have to send an engineer to fix it. We need to enable them because they're really going to bring this market forward. And that means that on our side, what we can do from a globally scalable perspective is what we can do is that we can make sure that everything is running. It's super integration friendly, yeah, and the basics are there. Security, like it just it just works. So that's what we do. So we have integration partners all over the world. And if you look, for instance, when Apple came with the open app platform, the App Store, right after the 3rd edition of their mobile operating system, all of a sudden, these companies that were losing business of building websites to WordPress say, hey, here's a new opportunity. I just can program it. I have my distribution channel, and I can now start again charging $150 an hour instead of $60
and
for WordPress.
There's an app for that.
There's an app for that. So this is going to happen here as well. So there's going to be companies say, oh, now I'm just only able to charge $60 an hour for an iOS developer. There's a new thing coming. I can start charging $150 an hour for an IoT app. So this is where it's coming. It's going a bit slower, but it's getting there. It's the ease of integration.
Now, it makes a lot of sense. And what you're really talking about is the importance of a strength of an ecosystem, which is the whole reason you created this event.
Yeah, indeed. Because you cannot do it alone. And that's why you need to agree on APIs. You need to make them open, so no intellectual property on APIs. And you need to make sure that you're extendable, and then you need to be able to let's say grant somebody also a piece of the pie, and not try to eat the pie in whole, because that is where all these failed POCs come from. Because you're trying to eat the whole pie at once, and this is not scalable.
Well, when you share, there's more for everyone, is the way I think of it.
Indeed.
And I think if you look at the projects that have been most successful in the space, it's where you bring in the right people with the right expertise working together, and then everyone wins. It's as simple as that.
In the Netherlands, we say if you are able to divide, you're also able to multiply, right? So this is exactly the point. Is exactly why we are doing this for 2 years, and it is also probably why there's now 1,500 people here from more than 50 countries.
And that's the last thing I think we need to touch on, is that this is just an incredibly, it's a pretty rare event that when you show up I showed up a few minutes before the doors were supposed to open, an hour before the keynotes, and there already was a line of 60 or 70 people waiting to get in. Yeah. So how was this show 2 years ago? How has it evolved?
Yeah, so we started off with just the basic curiosity of fulfilling the basic curiosity of the basics of LoRa, and getting hands-on. So the first year was a lot of developers. The second year, we complemented that with a lot of solution engineers, product managers. They say, hey, what's happening here? My engineer is telling me it's working. If it's working, it's entering some kind of maturity, then maybe I want to see what kind of business cases I can create. And I think it's going in that direction. It's getting more mature. It is also us as an organization growing more mature from being more young and embracing failure to being more solid. And we were running our open network, which is our contribution to the LoRaWAN ecosystem, at a 99.98% uptime, because we strongly believe in that it should be implemented like that, and we will do that until the market starts to understand.
That's great. And so lastly, so we've come this far. What will this show look like in 3 years in your vision? Where's it going?
Yeah, so our vision is really, it's about the ecosystem. So at our opening keynote, we had 10 people sharing their new products on stage and sharing their ideas around how they contribute to adding value to the ecosystem. So it's going to be more and more a many-to-many conference about relationships, about how everybody makes the life not only of themselves better, but also of their partners.
It's IoT in a nutshell,
right.
In essence. Everybody's better working together. Thank you again. Wienke Giezeman, the co-founder of the Things Network. Thanks.
Thank you very much.